blast on Mike, and today I got one of my favorite people in the whole world to talk to, Donnie from Enuff Z Nuff. And I've only had the privilege to see Donnie play one time, and that was at Rocklahoma. I think it was '08, '08 or '09. I can't remember. Uh, I've interviewed you many, many, many times over the years. Uh, I'd say some of my funnest interviews I've ever done. But I want to tell you the one thing that I watch over and over again is your appearance with Enuff Z Nuff on the award show. Tell me how that went down. How did you end up? How did you and Chip finally come back together to be able to make that happen?
Oh, you mean the Hall of Fame thing?
Yes.
The Illinois Hall of Fame. There's the trophy. I ended up getting
Mhm.
it. Yeah, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to get it. I'm not going to go into that, but it was a bittersweet night. It was there was weirdness, and but it was cool. It was weird. I mean, the whole performance was it was great to be, but it didn't feel like enough's enough. There was those other guys were running around, and luckily I got Alex, and those guys are good players. His banders are good players and stuff. But I mean, it's like they were up in front, like trying to get in on steal the show and everything. It's like, but I knew just during that performance, it dawned on me that this is no longer my enough's enough. I gotta just close the door and it close the chapter, and it was a good run. This is his now, and I don't want to do what he's doing, and it's just that's his thing now, and you could tell that it was strange for him to go back into the co-pilot seat for the night because the focus switches over when I'm there. It's a big thing. It's a reunion, all that stuff like that.
Mhm.
And so it was weird, um, but it felt like a decent a closure. You know what I mean? Because I didn't really have any closure with it. I've been really struggling with this shit for a long time. There's all kinds of things involved in that, and I struggle hard with it, and sometimes real hard, and but as I just like it felt like okay, we can close the door now. There's no reason to think about it anymore because
But,
there's nothing there.
well, how did it come together? Did they reach out to you, or did Chip reach out to you? How did it come together for you all to actually perform together?
Um, Believe it or not, he was actually trying to do it without me, but
What?
yeah, I didn't. Nobody told me about it. I found out about it way late, just a few weeks before. One of my friends messaged me, goes, "Congratulations, you're getting in the thing and Hall of Fame." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" Said, "Yeah." And then he sent me a link, and I looked at the link, and it's a picture of the current Enuff's Enough, with his lineup and stuff without me in there. He's erasing me. And so one of my friends that directed this Instant Karma video I made, he's on the board. He was on the committee for that thing. And I
Mhm.
was talking to him, and he was like, Really? He couldn't believe what was going on. He didn't know. He had no idea. I know he told me so. I don't know what exactly, but I know that I knew I was going to be there. So it
Well,
was.
you're just as much enough as he is. I mean, of course, Jerry's gone now. He's passed away. And Vicky hasn't been in a band for years. I don't even know if anybody knows where Vicky Fox is at this point in life. But,
Well,
I
who
mean,
cares? Who cares?
you and Chip were enough. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the reason why you had albums called Brother and, when you, and things like that nature. I mean, enough's enough. In my opinion, this is just my opinion, but some of my friends have the same opinion. Enough's enough is not enough without Chip and Donnie together, you know. Uh, but I respect what you're saying, that you're ready to move on. I had a great conversation with Alex. Alex was on tour with his one band of the many that Alex has,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Texas Hippie last year. And I saw him at the Blue Note, and we talked to Alex for ever, about you, about Chip, about the whole thing. And he brought a lot of light onto it. I'm not going to go into detail because that's your all's thing, but
Yeah.
uh, he gave us a lot of detail into the whole dynamics of Chip and Donnie. So, for the people that don't know, just kind of give us a vague understanding of why it would never happen again. Enough's enough with Chip and Donnie.
Because he doesn't want to do it. I've
But you
I've
want
I've offered. There's been a couple offers for us to do reunion show for a pretty respectable money, and he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to do it because if we're gonna do that, if I'm gonna do a whole show with those guys, a reunion thing, I would want to make it a special event. I'd want to really put some work into it and do the best song list, the best set, have the right performers, have the right guys up there, guys who have his part of the history of the band, at least that we have at our disposal, which we do. And Alex is one of them, and so. There was Johnny Monaco, but Alex is I don't know. I don't know. It's there is Johnny Monaco as well, but Alex was my first choice because he plays with me now, and
yeah.
he knows all those songs, and he's a real pro. He's got the stage presence, he's got his shit together. He's a great player, and he does so much for me. It's ridiculous. He wears a lot of hats. Feel sorry
I
for him,
get
but I mean, that's if we're gonna do Enuff Z Nuff show. Chip wanted me to just it's just like his band with me guest starring that night, and that's I don't consider that a really Enuff Z Nuff reunion because he says it because we already have a set list. We don't have to do rehearsing. I don't want to play that set list. I want to play cool songs. If this is a one time thing, a reunion, at
yeah.
least one time thing. I want to enjoy it. I want to, I'm a fan. So I want to be a fan and I want to be able to really connect with people and I need to be enjoying it. And um, doesn't he just he won't budge on that. He just has to be with his band and so it's like that whole attitude right there where there's no compromise or anything like that. That's I'm not interested in that because I just can't it's with a lot of other things it's just that's I don't think it's right and
Hmm.
so why would I do that to myself? I just it's just like how long am I gonna just be the punching bag of that thing? But that's all right. I mean, I've offered to do it. I've offered to play shows a lot of times and say we could do a couple shows for the fans. Let the fans because
Yeah.
if you read the message boards, it's what everybody wants. You know, and for some reason, people seem to think I'm lacking something without him. I'm like, what am I lacking? What is missing? I mean, he's there. It's just the bass, but yeah, I mean, I thought he was my brother. I thought we were tighter than we ended up being, and
Yeah.
it's sad, because I having a brother is always been very important to me, and especially in the early days, and I just don't know what the motives and agendas were, but they ended up not being exactly what I thought they would be. But I love him. He fast tracked me. I wouldn't have got where we got in that period of time without him. He fast tracked me into being professional from just an amateur kid. That was my first real band, and I love him. We did a lot in the very beginning. We wrote a lot together. We hung together. It was we were a team and stuff. And we added a band. We worked hard, and this and that, and then things just started. As far as creatively, I started outgrowing him. You know, I started wanting to evolve and keep evolving and add other things and other elements, and not just cock rock versions of my songs. And
Yeah.
because I wrote a majority of everything, and so it's a lot more personal to me. When it's the artist, it's not as personal to him. This is more of a business, and he's going to get all the accolades for anything that I do anyway, which he's doing right now, So I don't know. I just felt like I got everything I needed and moved on.
But Alex, now talking about Alex, no, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Alex part of Enuff Z Nuff at one
He
time?
was he was the original. He was in before Derek. He was
That's what I thought.
he was our guitar player as we were shopping deals and everything. And we had a manager at the time though that had all this money, and he put us in his big recording studio to make demos. We rode around in limousines. We had apartments and cars and stuff, and big bags of blow and shit like that. So he ran the show, and he also managed Derek. And Derek didn't have a band currently, so he didn't know what to do with Derek. And he thought, well, Derek could be good in Enuff Z Nuff. And so basically, the manager fired Alex and put Derek in the band, which I was always apprehensive. I don't think that that's a great idea. We're not from anywhere near the same world, and I mean, I wouldn't have much legs or staying power because that how long could I do that? You know what I mean? 80s metal is it's the last thing that was in my blood. It ended up being my identity, which is crazy. And
So when you come from Chicago to LA, Vic wasn't with you either, or was Vic with you? Was he somebody from Chicago?
Vic was from Chicago, but his influences were Motley Crue and Poison and stuff.
Um,
I was like the Beatles and Led Zeppelin and Rush and Motown. So we didn't,
mhm.
and Derek was all about Eddie Van Halen. So he thought I wrote Dear Prudence when we started playing. We would play Dear Prudence, Come Together, Revolution. He thought I wrote all those. He didn't know. He doesn't know what the Beatles. He thought he would said he'd always say that without me, you guys are just the Bay City Rollers. You guys is a bunch of pussy rock and stuff like that. It was like, we get into it occasionally with that.
But you and Derek become really good friends.
Hmm?
You and Derek become really good friends. You all were
We
like the top big
we're
team.
we were brothers. We were corralled
Mhm.
together too because we were the problems, and so together it was very toxic, because there was always one of us that was ready to take over and find the shit, you know what I mean, and the other one was too tired. The other one, it's like we had the two of us double duty. And we stayed up a month once. Nobody believes us, but we did. We stayed up 30 days between up and down and going back and forth in like 30 days. That's
Are
crazy.
it's 2026. Are you surprised you're still alive today?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think I deserve to be, but
Why do you say that? Why? I don't understand that when people say that I don't deserve to be. What in your head makes you think that you don't deserve to be alive?
because of what I did to myself and my body, and that have absolutely no love for myself ever. I think that stems from my childhood or whatever, and just the things that I do to how little I put into care for myself is pathetic, the amount of things that I've done and drugs that I've done and everything that I've done. It's like, and everybody else practically is gone, that I knew, and guys from bands and stuff. There's a lot of them are gone, that used to warn me to be careful, and they're gone on drugs and different, different other things that I've been involved in. And it's a miracle that I'm here, but that's my story. Your story is your story, regardless of, you can maybe fuck it up here and there, but that's still your story. That's how it was going to be, you know.
Have you ever thought about writing a book or doing a documentary about yourself?
We started a documentary. Yeah.
When's that supposed to be released? Because that would be
Uh,
amazing.
yeah, that'll be a while because we just started it. We only got, I mean, the guy that's doing it, from he's done a few movies now that and documentaries that he's got to Netflix and stuff. He did my party time video real fast for me, and we just got, we got maybe 7, 8, 9 hours just of, stories of me talking and stuff, but
Yeah.
we need 100 hours to edit and get a great 2 hours, or hour and a half with clips and find the right stuff from going through all these hard drive full of old videos and things that bootleggers have given me and stuff, and find all these things to reference, what I reference, to find something to show, like professional videos or
Yeah, yeah.
documentaries are done. So and this guy's by the book, it's like you can't have a shirt that says anything or any of the, I mean,
Yeah.
completely by the book and signing and all that stuff. So he's already told me, he goes, this will be a year just shooting things, this and that, and then we'll go into editing, which will probably be close to another 6 months, and then but there's investors that are involved and are interested in doing it. So I've always, if I had $1 for every time anybody told me I need to write a book or a documentary or something like that, I finally, that's not the easiest thing to get going, to get that rolling when you
Oh, yeah.
I don't have any hustle or grift in me, you know what I mean? I'm just an artist, so without somebody helping me find shows or line this up, or say I'm hopeless at all of that shit, and so trying to put together a documentary, I my head's all over the place. I wouldn't even be able to corral it all together on my own.
That's why Alex is good for you, because Alex is right to the point. It's like, Alex is like, this is how you make money, and this is how you sell shit, and this is how you do this. And it's like,
He's
he's
yeah.
a billboard for how to make money, it seems
He
like.
he could talk a dog off a meat truck.
I'm
Yeah, Alex,
telling
he does so much. He wears
you.
so many hats when he plays with me that I feel bad for him. I always often wonder, I'm like, why do you do this? It's crazy. 'Cause it's not, you get so much for so little, at this stage of the game, you know what I mean? When you're trying to fly a band and put
Yeah.
them up in hotels and stuff for the money that you make at this level, maybe that'll change a little with being on Wicked Cool. Got radio airplay and a lot of promotion, and they're really great. They're really great to me. Show
How
me a
did
lot
that
of a lot of love.
how'd that deal come together? Because your kind of music doesn't really fit in with some of the stuff on that label. So how did that come about?
Well, that's
How
little
did you
that's little Steven's label,
yeah.
from East Street Band, and little
Mhm.
Steven used to come out to the studio and stuff in the old days when we'd be out in New York mixing things like that. A couple different records. He'd come out a few times each. Every time we were out there and listen. And he'd come in I had my listening room. Because it's just somewhere to put Donnie, give him his way to playback stuff and shit where he can bring his people in and friends. So I'm bored there. They're mixing and shit, and so I'd have like Hart was over one night and Steve Stevens, got all kinds of people back then, and he was one of them. And he was really he would sit there and listen. I would watch him listening. His eyes closed, listening to stuff. And he had comments that were intelligent. And, he spoke to me kind of on my wavelength artistically, which is very unusual to me at that point. And so
Mhm.
uh, it wasn't that long ago. It's my girlfriend that was talking about him through because of his political stance and things that he posts and things that he says and stuff. And she was telling me about says he's really great. He says some great things and this and that. And she's real political. And so I said, I know him. And told her, it's like, well, he's at a record label and a radio station and all that stuff. And I really I'm not too aware of what's happening out there. I'm here doing this. And so it took me a minute to get a hold of his contact information, his email. Chip wouldn't give it to me, of course. And he didn't give me any of the numbers. And that was always the deal. I'll write the songs. You keep the communication going with everybody, and you take care of remembering who everybody is, and but so finally got a hold of him through buddy again, and gave me his email address, and he answered. I was like, hey buddy, how you been? It's been a long time. How do I submit something to your label? And he said, what do you got? And he said, send me a couple songs. I sent him 2 songs, and he just said, you're in, with some phone numbers with some other people that worked at the label with their phone numbers and call them now, deal with them. You're in. So it was pretty easy, but it hasn't been easy. You know what I mean? It's a lot of work and a lot of suffering and pain to got leading up till now to finally, you know, have him think that highly of me and the label to show me the love they are, and they seem very much behind it.
So the album that's coming out is the re-release of Beautiful Things that was on Decca Records, right?
Kinda.
Okay.
I don't even call it a re-release. It's basically this is a release, you know. It base it at that it just was one day obtainable. It really wasn't released by anybody. I had more followers than that label
Oh,
on my Facebook page, you know. So there was no the reason I took that deal is because they fronted me the CDs to give because I originally did Pledge Music. I tried to do the Pledge Music, and you know what that is? Where the crowdfunding
yeah.
and I reached the goals. I doubled the goals. So we're like, okay, let's go make a record. We went in, and started making the record, and you know we got a budget. We're doing it for real, and then they just disappeared, and they took all the money, and that they took the fans' money. They took the money it was supposed to be given to us for me for the budget and all that stuff, and I got left on the hook for all that shit, and we were out all of that, and we needed. I didn't want to, you know, I haven't done anything since Enuff Enough since I left that, and I can't do that to the fans. You know, come back with the first thing that I do after all this
Yeah.
time, and they just sent their money and they just get fucked because you know a lot of them they don't understand that it's these other guys that did it or anything like that. All they know is they gave their money and they didn't get their shit. You know, so that deal that I took, they gave me fronted me the product to at least take care of those people, and it was a shitty deal, and I had turned it down like twice, but they were cool. I mean, the guy at Deco, he was cool. He really liked the music. He really liked me. He just didn't have any resources or any kind of juice to do anything with it. You know, basically a
No.
record label was a guy on his phone.
So that was released only on CD. I thought it was released on vinyl.
Yeah, there was a. I believe there was 300 vinyls made, and I think the equal amount of CDs. That's all that were ever made. You know, we're just selling them on my Facebook page. That was basically it. You know, they didn't sell any, and so that was all I could do, and then try to hustle up interviews and stuff. Well, I just had some people helping me that reached out to everybody, and he probably got a hold. You know, I believe you were one of them. That's you
Yeah.
know maybe 5 or 6 years ago or so. But yeah, this is the it. I was done, man. I was done. I'm not making no more records after Beautiful Things. I finally made a record that's my exact vision that I visualize myself as an artist. I finally got it. That's what I wanted. It's perfect for me. You know what I mean? And this is a great record. And you know, all my other records, when I listen to them, all I hear is what I wished I'd have done different. You know, I mean, uh, but when I listen to Beautiful Things, well, up until recently, I've heard it just too many times now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love that. It's perfect, and it's just for that to just die a death like that, I was like, there's what is the point of doing this anymore? So much goes into that and shit. There's just no point, you know. And you get expectations and hopes and stuff when you're making something you feel is so good, you know, and it's so depressing and discouraging that so now there's, you know, now that idea is in my head to make a better record, you know, make a new one and better. But we just released this one, so it's going to be a while.
So is this going to be on CD and vinyl, or just CD, or what?
No, vinyl and CD.
What's the release date?
I do believe May 22nd. There's another single coming out. I think next month. I think "Beautiful Things." They're releasing "Beautiful Things" as a single. I'm not sure if there will be vinyl. It's like they put a vinyl record out with "Plain Jane," the first single. You can get them at donnievie.com. You get them at my website.
Okay.
Yeah, or it shows. You know the actual. Where is one? I had one here. I had one sitting around. I think I can't find it. I don't even have one. I don't have any of my stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a cute little thing. It's a little vinyl record. It's got the big hole where you got to find one of those things to stick in there.
Are you going to go back out with Zebra again, or are you going to go out and just do the Donnie solo stuff
No,
by yourself, or
I
what's the plan?
I love opening for a place at bigger places. For 2,000 people or 500 or more. I like opening and I get a lot of exposure to new people and people usually they usually like what I do. And so I get a lot more fans and it's you know, uh, up until now, I don't know how things are going to be yet. I believe the needle is moving a little. It should probably do better business. I'll find that out in the end of April. I have two shows with Zebra in California. One's in LA, one's at Ventura, and I'll be able to get a little barometer on if there's more people coming out to see me then.
You need to go to the East Coast, man, where I live in
For
Kentucky.
sure, for sure. That's why I just want to see what's going on. Was to just start booking shows, and I know that the label has said that they're going to help. They like to pair their artists up and stuff on bills. They go out and tour, play together, and things like that. They've got a lot of great artists, and we'll see what happens. And I've just I've
Amazing.
they know that I'm basically starting from scratch, you know what I mean? And so it's like I need everything. So I'm asking, looking for advice on a lot of things, from them. And I hope I don't bother them too much. I probably already have.
So when you play a solo show or you play a Donnie show, how much enough's enough do you bring to the table?
Um, it depends if I'm doing the acoustic show or the live band. Like in April, we're doing one of each. Half and half, probably.
Do you have a
Yeah,
lot of requests still for enough's enough? Or even a
yeah.
better question, how many people request you do Beatles or John Lennon music?
Well, I don't know. But if I would get many requests, somebody might in the crowd might yell a song or yell something, do that, blah blah blah. But I don't really hear of that. I mean, I don't really get many requests. If
Yeah,
we don't have the request jar, I could put one there if it'd make more money. Come on and put your request in. We put $100 bill in there with your request. We'll give it a shot.
yeah. I was talking to my buddy Andy. Me and Andy have been Enough's Enough fans since we were kids. And the weird thing, let me say this first. The weird thing is, you're only 3 years older than me. So when I was in high school listening to Enough's Enough, you were literally only 3 years older than me. It,
Yeah,
it blows my mind, man, when I see that stuff. It's like,
yeah. I was a kid when I hooked up with Chip.
how the hell did that happen? You know? But anyway, back to my thing with me and Andy. You know, we've been Enough's Enough fans for years. And, Andy's played with Chip many of times. We were at Rocklahoma. I had my own stage at Rocklahoma in '08 when you all were there. You know, what, what do you think? And this ain't just about you. Let's talk about the fact that, okay, Skid Row, all the fans want Sebastian back in, but now Sebastian's a Twisted Sister. Do you ever see yourself going and being in
No,
another band that's established
no.
at ever in your life?
No, no. How would I? Why would I do? How could I do that? Why would I mean? If you hear me, I'm a very identifiable voice, and I don't really sing many other bands' stuff. I don't have a metal voice. I can't sing the metal shit, and maybe it depends on what band asks me. Maybe if Elvis Costello or Squeeze or somebody like that, asks me. Um, or if there was enough money in it, somebody's going to give me enough money. I'd sing. I'll sing for whoever.
What if Sean Lennon called you up tomorrow and said you're starting a new Beatles? Would you do it?
Of course, I would. I always wanted to. I I could be in a Beatle band, because that's just I could do that. But I would like to do have a band of guys like other names, and put together a little thing where we play
A super group.
aggressive versions of, a super group like that. We do aggressive versions of Beatles songs, so like a Beatle thing, but that I would like to do, but that's pretty difficult to find those guys and to put that together.
Who would you be your three other members?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I can't even imagine. If I could pick them, obviously Alex, he'd be in there. I can't. Got to keep Alex, but I don't know the guy from the Jellyfish, Roger. He plays
Oh
on
yeah, that's a
he
good,
plays on my record. He's on Beautiful Things record,
that's a
and
good idea, man.
yeah,
Great guy.
Paul Gilbert maybe.
Paul Gilbert, that's another good guy.
I as far as drummers, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of great drummers out there. You want to get a guy like, I don't know, I don't know, but I'm up for it. If somebody contacts me wants to do it, like I said, I have a price for almost everything.
Price for everything. You have been learning from Alex, I can tell, because Alex will tell you the same thing. You know, he was explaining to us, Alex, when we met him. He's like, yeah. He goes, you go out for the first part of the year with these three bands, then you go out the next part of the year with these three bands, and then you do it all over again with the other bands. He's like, so that means you're on tour 12 months out of the year. He's like, it's a win-win. I'm like, this guy is like, I, he's Mr. Excitement, dude. When he's on stage,
He loves it. He just
you don't
loves
see
he
nothing
loves
else.
he loves the hustle, he loves the business, he loves the putting things together, and he manages, he does fucking everything. He's a handler, because I'm half the time I'm a basket case, I get anxiety and I've had my back's all fucked up half the time, and like I said, I in better shape than I deserve to be, but he has to deal with that. And I have I have functional autism, and I have
Oh,
bipolar, and also paranoid anxiety disorder. So all of those things are a cocktail for Alex having a wonderful time on the trips, and
and he
I
said,
do it so little, it's like lately I think I've only played a couple shows in the past 6 months, or even more. I do so few shows that I don't even get a chance to really get into my groove and find my zone again, get comfortable, and what I mean, because I just go there, do it, and leave. It's like I have to make sure that I remember to pick up the guitar a couple days beforehand and start playing again. So I don't touch the thing. I don't do any of that stuff. But he loves it. Like Chip
what
loves it
do you
too.
do? What does Donnie do in his spare time?
I like uh I like working on projects and stuff like that. Like it's the warm weather's coming now. Just doing the deck doing the new top on the deck. I grow weed, so I'm getting ready to start up my garden again this year, and I'm pretty good. I've gotten pretty good at that. I go to the gym now. I'm dealing with other health issues and stuff. I got some fucked up shit with my back and my nerve system, and but it seems like I'm always dicking around doing something. Not very much, nothing very much musical.
So do you got your own weed now? You gonna have your own name of weed and everything, or what?
I don't know my own name. I guess you could call it my name. But yeah, I usually grow a few different strains at a time. Not the same one. That's boring. Like to see what, but they become like family members. They're children. It's bittersweet at the end when you have to chop them down, because I out there talking to them and giving them good energy and the best food and the best care. I see.
That's the best part of taking marijuana, if you ask me.
Like edibles.
Edibles. Well, in
Yeah, I can't. I don't
Kentucky
need.
now, we just got a medical marijuana last January,
Oh wow.
and we're waiting for it to become available. We only got a couple of places right now that are selling it because it all has to be made here in Kentucky and all that. So
That's that
yeah.
Delta 9 stuff, right?
No, it's regular marijuana.
Oh, it's like a actual dispensary.
Yeah.
Oh,
THC, yeah. These came from a different state though. These came from Missouri.
they're
I
so
just had it-
expensive.
I
Yeah,
got
there's
I got two of these. Buy one, get one half off, and it cost me $45. And there's 50 of them in here. So, but
whenever they do that buy one get one free and stuff because they're trying to clear that out. That's the old stuff, and they got to make room for new shit. So it's just so expensive at those dispensaries. The tax here in Illinois, the tax is equal to the price of whatever you're buying. It's exactly the same as on the tax. It's ridiculous, but hey, I'll take care of you. No problem. I got jars and jars. I don't sell it. I don't have any customers or anything. My mom smokes like a chimney. I smoke. My girlfriend does edibles. She can't smoke. My sister smokes, and my friends. I give it to my friends. I give it to the guys at the gym. I give it to everybody. I got so much of it. It's not a. I smoke constantly, but it's not about that as much for me. It's about the growing the process and the relationship and the energy that you have back and forth and it shoots the days in the ass. Before you know it, another day shot in the ass.
me and my buddy Andy will have to make a trip to Chicago one day
Sure.
to come up and hang out with you.
And come
Um,
stay with us.
that'd be amazing, man.
Just not very long though.
I couldn't stay very long because my wife would want me back, and his would want him to be working again. So it wouldn't be very long, I promise you. But you know, I always have fun talking to you, man. I I'm so proud of you. I know that might not mean nothing, but I'm
Sure it
proud to see
does.
you, man, where you are, man. I've talked to you when you were at your lowest of lows and your highest of highs, and you seem like you're doing good, man. I mean, if you were to tell any fan of yours today, what would it be?
Thank you. That's it. Just thank you. That's all always but my aspirations really were throughout since I was a little kid. I needed the music. I needed the Beatles. I needed that stuff. I was in bad shape. It was a bad scene, from just the entire thing. That whole point. And then I went and made it a worse scene. But I needed that shit. And so my goal was that I want one day somebody to make somebody else feel like this is making me feel. Like, to do that for somebody else. And I've had a lot of people tell me that I've done that. So my dream did come true. I could use a few bucks,
We all
but
could use that.
just thank you very much. Thanks for connecting and thanks for receiving the messages. You've heard a lot of my stuff. It's I put it out there. When I'm struggling with something and shit, I put it out, and that's therapy. Hoping to find you reach out in the dark and find another lost soul and connect with them, and you got empathy, and you got okay, I'm not by myself doing this. Somebody else can relate to this, and I'm all about that stuff. I don't know why, but I am.
Well, me personally, I came across a video. I was looking up some of the newer music you had before I did this, and I came across a video during the pandemic, and it was amazing to see because we were all scared to death about what was going to happen, and the world was coming to an end. And Donnie's sitting here saying, "I know you all are scared, but for a minute, how about listening to this with me and see how your life is, or whatever you said." And I was like, "That's so amazing that you care enough about everybody else to do something like that, because at that time when you did it, we were all scared. We didn't know what was going on. Hell, I didn't want to walk outside. I thought it was going to get freaking some kind of shit that's going to kill me.
They're doing that
Mhm.
again. They're doing it again now. We're getting there again, but nothing unites like fear, you know.
You're right.
Nothing divides like money and nothing unites like fear, but that's what it's all about. It's like your brothers and sisters we're supposed to work together in harmony like like the animals and the grass and the dirt and the trees and the sun and the water and everything, they all work perfectly in perfect harmony. We're supposed to do that too, you know, but no, animals, they don't kill, they don't take more than they need, nothing. It's like, you know, you just look out for everything. And like see it makes me sad to see somebody suffering, you know what I mean? And if there's anything I can do, you know, unless they're a complete fucking asshole, and I've still fucking come to the aid of that, you know. But so many people have been wonderful to me. Some people have not been, but you know, that's if it weren't for the bad guys, we wouldn't be good guys, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have bad with good, or there wouldn't be a yin and a yang, right?
Yeah, it takes less energy to be nice and to be kind, and it's a good feeling, and it makes somebody else feel good than it takes to be a dickhead, you know, and greedy. And you know, I know a lot of people like that, you know, a lot of people in this business like that, you know. And if that's their thing, that's I think that's those are the people who are successful.
Yeah.
People like me don't you know, we're kind of works out. We're here for different reasons, you know. We're here to handle business and stuff. Those people are here to make money.
Well, I'm glad you're doing well, man. And if you can, hold on for a minute, okay?
Sure.